This is the My Writing Diary podcast. I'm Bill Wong. Today I'm going to give you another update. I'm probably about 4 or 5 days away from finishing my first draft. I was speaking with this other author and he made a comment to me that I should write my first draft with my heart and do the editing with my head. I happened to reread a couple sections and I knew what was going to happen. I knew what I had written, and when I started reading 2 sections, I started crying. What I've put my characters through and what they had to do just made me start crying at my desk. Hopefully that's a good thing. However, I did create a character which I thought is a terrible person. I read this review that Darth Vader is probably one of the most evil, villainous characters ever created. And in some ways, I created a character that was so terrible and horrific, I cringed. Basically, as a prime minister of Israel, he has the nuclear codes. He has the ability to use nuclear weapons. He's the person who says he likes the smell of burning hair and skin. Before the Sabbath, he's doing a political event at a hotel. After he finishes his event, he goes with his assistant, who's a young girl, and he has an affair with her. He wants to be home for the Sabbath in time to light the candles with his wife and children, which I think is terrible. On the way home, there's an assassination plot. Hamas, which is funded by other Arab countries, has a contract on him. And he uses the woman who he just had sex with as a shield. Then when they get back to Balfour, which is the Israeli White House, he goes up and has another round with her. I thought this was a terrible human being that I created. When I went to my writers group and I asked them about it, I said, I feel really terrible about this person. It makes me sick of an individual like this. And every single person in my writing group said, no, I think that's fine. I think that's right. While leaders should be doing their work, thinking about the affairs of state, they're thinking about affairs of their heart and having an affair. They don't really care about us. They're not doing their job and they're delinquent. The character that they should be exhibiting as a beacon or a light for the rest of us is just a show, because they're not like that. Every single individual I talked to, because I didn't think this was real and true to life, they said, no, that's about right. I'm writing the middle section. The Egyptian and Syrian armies have attacked Israel. They've used cyber warfare to divert and destroy some of the Israeli capabilities. The Israeli army is being overwhelmed, and the one person who has her head on right is the main character, Revka. And she is struggling to get her commanding officers to listen to her advice. And Israel is on the verge of collapse because they are being overwhelmed 5-1 or 3-1. 5-1 as far as the number of tanks, and 3-1 as the number of airplanes, because of hubris and because of silly mistakes and because of not taking care of what they should have done and not seeing the breadcrumbs along the way that there's going to be an imminent attack, but they don't do anything and they're not doing their jobs, which they are paid to do their jobs. And one thing I recently did, because of what's happening in the American political scene, I aged the American president about 15 years and made him slightly senile. I'm on the verge of finishing up. I know there's a lot of errors. For example, one time I had 2 airplanes taking off and only one landed, and it wasn't because it was destroyed. It's just because I didn't realize I had only one plane at one time. and there's a couple characters, I thought their name was Ryan, but it was actually Brian. I'm going to go in and fix all that stuff. I'm going to start doing editing as soon as I'm done with this first draft. I probably have about 5,000 or 6,000 words left, which might be about 5 or 6 days, I hope, and it will be done. Then the real challenge begins. This is Bill Wong, My Writing Diary. I will see you on the pages.